Hello guys and welcome to the latest different view. Today we'll be doing something slightly unusual in terms of what we do. Today we'll be doing the efficiency of building attack speed over attack damage, and we've now done quite a bit of math on this, so let's see how we get to it. I also got a brand new logo today. It's drawn by Fornius. I hope you guys like it. Let's get into it. So let's get straight into the post. Now, firstly, I've had one of my friends in the chat make me a logo, and it's this wonderful Heimerdinger logo with analysis. I felt that the old one was too simple, and this one is much better and more intricate, and I'd really like to thank Fornius for making me this logo. It's beautiful, it's completely hand-drawn, I think. Now, look, give me a moment to appreciate this awesome art. It's beautiful, isn't it? Okay, now let's get on to the real post. So attack speed versus attack damage. So it's pretty obvious what each stat does. So attack speed increases the number of attacks you can do per second. Damage increases the amount of damage you do per attack. So basically, in boxing terms, how fast you can hit versus how hard you can hit. So basically what? Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman. That's pretty much what we're looking at here. So, firstly, let's take a look at the damage output you gain out of stacking attack damage or attack speed. I've included this table here, and it pretty much gives you individual values for a range of damage and attack speed basis. So basically it's saying, if you have 50 damage here and 1.5 attack speed here, how much damage will you be dealing per second? So 50 times 1.5 is 75. That's how much you'll be dealing. Now, I've included the full image link. Take a look at that at your own leisure. It's nice and big. Now, that's just to give you an idea of what the values are like. They're staggered at intervals. I wanted a nice smooth one, so this following graph is this nice smooth contour graph, as I like to call it, rainbow graph, yay. It gives the same values that the table does, except it's very nicely presented. So for example, 200 damage at 2 attack speed is up here, and that's 400. Shoof. Makes sense? Simple enough. Now, back to what I want to do today. I want to calculate how effective it is to buy AD versus attack speed. So as you can see in the table over here, I took it up in damage steps of 5 and attack speed steps of 0.1. Now, first thing you have to know is attack speed comes in percentage items. So basically, a dagger gives 20% attack speed. So 20% attack speed means 20% added on to your base attack speed. Every champion has a slightly different base attack speed, which is what, 0.6766, something close to that. And I had a look at the wiki page. It's linked here, which is not showing up properly for some reason. It's on the wiki page, and basically, the average amount of attack speed you gain on an AD carry is 0.033 attack speed per 5% of attack speed that you get. It doesn't vary much for the other champions, maybe 0.5%, 1%, but the point is, for every 5%, they get around 0.033, 32, 34. Doesn't make a huge difference. So over 15% of attack speed, they gain 0.1 attack speed, for example. So let's say you have an Ashe who has 1 attack speed. To get her to 1.1, you roughly need around 15% attack speed. Exact value is around 15.15, but we can round that down to 15. Doesn't make a huge difference. Now, so 15% attack speed is needed to gain the attack speed to 0.1. And we'll compare it to 580. Why 580? It's a small denomination. It's smaller than a longsword. 15% attack speed is smaller than a dagger. It's not exactly proportional, but it won't matter because we'll be scaling it to gold efficiency. Speaking of gold efficiency, you'll use my gold stat table again. So the stats of interest to us are attack damage 39.6 gold per point, attack speed 27.125. So that's here, and where'd it go? There it is. There. So, gold efficiency wise, 5 times 39.06 and attack speed 27.125 times 15. It costs 2.1 times more to buy 15% attack speed than it costs to 580. So, keeping that in mind, let's look at the damage efficiency. So you'll notice that at almost any point, buying 15% attack speed is million times better than buying attack damage. That is because the values are quite skewed, so 15% attack speed is quite a lot compared to 580. As I said, that won't matter. We'll scale it down to the gold efficiency. This is just for you to have a look at. actual comparison-wise, it's not an even comparison. This is just, I just put this in here because I used it for my calculations, because it will be scaled. Now look, I'll scale this to gold efficiency. So basically, I'll make it so that attack speed is only better when it's 2.1, the damage output it gives is 2.1 times better than when you buy 580. So now we have this graph. So basically what this is saying, when is it better to buy attack speed over 80? So the values on the graph, let's say 2. At 2 it's what? Mildly orange, somewhere around this area. Let's draw a line around this area. So basically what this says is, around this area, it's twice as better to buy attack speed than it is to buy attack damage. The value is independent of the values of attack speed and attack damage you use. It is a linear scaling. So what this means is basically, as long as you pick any two values that are within 0.7 of each other, basically attack damage has to be 0.7 of each point of attack speed. So basically, if you have 100% of attack speed, you need to compare it to 70-80 because that's how equal they are in gold efficiency. So if you want to make a choice between building 100% attack speed and 70 more AD, you can use this graph and you can see that it is approximately 2 times better to buy 100% attack speed around this area, about 6 times better to buy this area, and it's twice as better to buy attack damage around this area, and 4 times as better to buy attack damage around this area. So basically it's linear scale. There's nothing between -1 and 1. So this area, there's nothing. Why is that? Because it's been made so if you have a value of 1.001, it means that attack speed is 0.1% better. So there's a very, very fine line here. It's a tiny, tiny green line here. So green. There's a very thin green line here where it is equal. Apart from that, it'll jump to right here and here. So that's why you see a jump in color. So basically, this jump in color is the break-even point. Anything to this side is where attack speed is better to purchase. Anything to this side is where attack damage is better to purchase. Now, conclusions. So what can we see here? As I've explained, I told you how to read this graph. I mean, it's different based on every situation. However, I can give you a rule of thumb. If you look at this break-even point, it's a linear line, meaning it's a straight line. So from this straight line, you can see, look, for example, at 0.8, around 100 damage is where the break-even point is. At 200, it's around 1.9. So basically, for 100 damage, it's gone up 1. So ideally, as a rule of thumb, you want around 1.5 to 2 points of damage for every % of attack speed you get. The number does vary with crit chance. I mean, it's a random variable, so we can't. It's hard to put a value on it. You can take armor penetration into account. Armor penetration, the more damage you have, the better armor penetration is, as proven by my previous posts. So it'll probably be better to have a bit more damage to be on the safe side. So I'd say get around 2 points of damage for every % of attack speed you get, and at least 1.5 points of damage for percentage of attack speed you get. So what does this mean? So our common DPS carry build is go Berserker Greaves and 3 Dorans. So that's what, 30 damage and 25% attack speed if I'm not mistaken. So right there you're getting 1.2 points of damage per every percentage of attack speed. Now let's look at Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer. Infinity Edge is 80% damage. 80 damage, and Phantom Dancer is what? 40% attack speed, I believe. So that right there is a 2-to-1 ratio, which is pretty much the perfect ratio you can have for making the most out of your gold while still maintaining an even balance. So conclusion, the current build meta is very, very optimal. Ideally, you'd have 4 Dorans with the Berserker Greaves, but you're going to sell Dorans, so I mean, there's no point stacking them, selling them. You're going to lose some gold. I mean, it is efficient to maintain it, but AD carries are scaling for late game. You want to have the basic Dorans, just to survive in lane, do some damage lane, be a threat and not be, a complete waste in lane. So that's what Dorans are for. I mean, you don't want to buy spec completely into Dorans just to keep up this optimal damage ratio. You want to be able to sync, you want to be able to scale into late game well, so you don't want to waste too much money on Dorans and start building your big items, your Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer, which does give you the optimal build. So, conclusion, rule of thumb, try and get 2 points of damage for every percentage of attack speed you can get. Lower bits of damage are okay, as long as try to maintain at least 1.5. That's your rule of thumb. The current build meta, Infinity Edge and Phantom Dancer and Dorans and Berserker Greaves do provide almost perfectly optimal or nearly optimal damage bonuses, damage outputs. So basically what I'm trying to say is the current meta, the current build path is very close to optimal, and it will be very hard to find a path that will result in more damage output. So I hope you enjoyed this post. The current post basically confirms that the current damage output, the current build, is actually one of the best possible. I hope you enjoyed this video. It took me a while to make it. I'm sorry for the delay. I hope you like the new logo. Give us some feedback for Fornius. I'm sure you'd like it. Artists always like feedback. I like to think I'm an artist in the mass crafting sense. I don't know how that makes sense, but it does to me. So give me all the feedback you can. I'll try and make something better. I've got good things planned for the future. You'll see soon enough. Any feedback, leave it in. And you can like, subscribe, favorite, all that jazz if you want to. And I'll see you in the next video and post. Thank you for watching A Different View. This is DiffTheEnder signing out.